Hello, good morning. Welcome to this introduction to artificial intelligence and the general pattern that I'm going to follow in this is I'll be going over how the AI, what is AI, how it evolved, and what are the current state of affairs. Presently, for this course, I'm not going to go into complex mathematical details, and I will just give you a brief overview so that you can understand the overall bigger picture. So with that, let's start. So artificial intelligence, I have yet to come across a unified definition of AI. If we ask two AI experts, they might have two different answers. Even if we ask the same expert on two different days, they might come up with two different definitions. So, why this inconsistency? The reason for this inconsistency and seeming inability to define AI is that until now, it has not been clear what the definition of intelligence is. What is intelligence? What makes us human and unique? What makes us conscious of our own existence? How do neurons in our brain perceive images, sounds, feelings, and thoughts? These are vast topics that have fascinated philosophers, anthropologists, and neuroscientists for centuries. I will not attempt to go there in this course. So, coming back to the topic, intelligence can be understood as capacity to learn and solve problems. And AI can be understood as, in a simple way, is a simulation of human intelligence by machines. So it's like machines are solving problems, they're acting rationally like humans. In simple terms, AI is like giving superpower to machines, allowing them to learn, think, and even make decisions. So imagine having a robot that can learn from its mistakes, understand what you're saying, or even play a game against you and even get better at time. Pretty cool, right? Huh? So let's dive into what makes AI so fascinating and why it's such a big deal in our world today. So, coming to this, I'm sure you might have heard about a lot of movies. They talk about there's a popular conception about what AI is doing to the society. There are robots, there are people, and I mean it's portrayed differently in different movies. So I remember one movie, Terminator. It was a robot. It was an AI design system, and it came on Earth to help and save a person. So these kind of things have been quite popular. So what is AI? So AI is something you can think of a machine who makes decision rationally. Now, since rationally can be subjective, so it's better to define it. So it's machine achieving predefined goals. It's very important. And rationality only concerns with what decisions are made, not the thought process. And let's go ahead and simplify. So you might have heard about AI doing a lot of things, and you might have felt overwhelmed at some point, but once you progress in AI, you would realize that AI is simply the conditional statements, and like if and else statement is all about logic, and once you apply it, you will realize in the future exercises. So when it comes to decision making with respect to AI, like I said, it's used to automate a lot of things and scheduling, airline routing. It could be also used for military purposes. Now, I'm sure you might have used Google Maps. So you know why you use Google Maps to go from one place to another. You get that notification from Google Maps that there's a congestion ahead, there is a slowdown, and you're on the fastest route. Everything is possible because of AI. In medical diagnosis, medical data can be used to predict whether a person is having skin cancer or not based on the images and spam classifiers, and these things we are going to discuss ahead. So I'm just going to show you with an example and then it will become clear. Like for example, I can talk about spam classifiers. You have your inbox, and Gmail actually helps you be more productive by deciding in advance what mails are important to you and what mails are not. So if certain mails are important, it's going to go in your inbox, and if certain are not, they are going in spam. So who does that? It's basically the spam classifiers who does that. So right now, just try to focus on the bigger picture, and without getting too much overwhelmed that how it will happen. In future classes, we will understand them, but right now, just try to have a bigger picture. So, what can AI do? So, can AI play a decent game of table tennis? So, yes, but it's still in the early stages compared to playing virtual games like chess. So, it's really good at chess, but with table tennis, it's in early stages. Now, how about driving safely along in Patterson? Now, Patterson is now there are companies who are well developed like Tesla, Waymo. They can drive safely in certain areas, but navigating busy and complex environments like Patterson is still a challenge. What about buying a week's worth of groceries at a grocery shop in Patterson? So AI cannot physically go to a grocery store and shop like a human. However, AI can assist you in online grocery shopping. How it can assist you? It can suggest you items and help you place orders. How about AI chatbot trying to solve a problem? For instance, let's say new mathematical theorem. So AI can converse with you to a certain extent, but beyond that, it will lose its track. Like I said, converse successfully with another person for 1 hour. They can hold conversation for an extended time, but their ability to sustain meaningful conversations and context aware conversations. Now what's context aware? Let's say you're talking about a video game, so or let's say you're talking about banking. So out of after some time it shifts its conversation, it starts giving you wrong answers. So gradually it becomes less meaningful. So this is still a hot area of research, and a lot of research is being conducted in this area. How about perform a surgical operation? Sounds very strange, right? But yes, AI assisted surgical robots are used in medicine, but a fully autonomous surgical AI is not a reality, and simply it's too risky. How about robots can perform? Did you ever think about this? Put away the dishes and fold the laundry. I mean, I'm sure your parents might have told you that, throw the garbage or do the dishes before you go to sleep. So AI, your friend, can actually help you there. It can perform these things in a controlled environment, but they are not yet commonly used in everyday homes due to the complexity and cost. Translate spoken Chinese into spoken English in real time. So I will show you an example ahead where one language is converted into another language. Now, this is a classical example of Google Translate. I'm sure you might have heard about this app. If you haven't heard, you should check it out. So Google Translates. So you input one sentence here and you output another sentence. So the sentence could be in Spanish. So you say hi, how are you in Spanish, and the output that you get, it's in English. So this is like the machine translation. We will discuss about this, and of course write an intentional funny story. Of course you can ask Siri, or tell me a funny story. So AI can generate jokes and stories, but creating humor that consistently lands well with human audience is still a challenging task for AI. So moving ahead, how does AI work? Now, you can imagine AI as a super smart robot friend. So you can think of it as super smart robot friend. So what it does, so imagine you have a robot friend who wants to learn how to tell the difference between cats and dogs. Now, to teach your robot, you show it a lot of pictures of a cat and, of course, dogs. Now, how does it work? The more pictures you show your robot, the better it gets at knowing, okay, what is a cat and what is a dog? What does a dog look like? It's like practicing over and over again until your robot finally understands it. It's like making a brain. So, this is like a brain, and brain can be understood as something like a memory. So how we've seen cats and dogs so many times, so we know when we see them that okay, this is a cat, this is a dog. And similarly, we are also helping the robot build a brain. It's like building a memory. After looking at all those pictures, your robots can build a little brain inside that it helps remember what makes a cat and a dog. And when you see your pet, you know it's a cat because you've seen them before. And how about like answering questions? Now that your robot has learned, it can help you with questions. If you show it a new picture, it can tell you if it's a cat or a dog. The robot uses its brain to learn new things and compare what it remembers. So the first one, it stores something in its memory, then it will compare and then gives you the answer. It's like when you see a new kid at school and you can tell if it's wearing a red shirt because you know what the color red looks like. Now, the fourth step is getting better because it's possible that the robot might make a mistake. Maybe it thinks it's a fluffy dog, but actually it's a cat. Because of the fur, it can be confusing for the robot. So you say, no, that's a dog. The robot will learn from its mistake and get better. So the more you help the robot, the smarter it gets. So this is a roughly a broad view how AI works. Now let us focus on the journey through time, how AI evolved. So AI is not new. It has been there in the last century. It started in the early days with these two gentlemen. They were like just people starting to think about how to make machines reason or how they could think like us. And these two scientists, what they did is they imagined the brain as a kind of machine. So they thought of brain as a machine that could be explained using math and simple on and off switches. It's like a light bulb. They thought, what if our brains work like a bunch of tiny switches? Pretty interesting. Ahead, in 1950, Turing's computing machinery and intelligence. It's like a super smart guy named Alan Turing came up with this Turing test, and he asked a big question: can machines think? Very interesting. He even created a game, which is this is the name of the game. It's called Turing test. Is to see if a machine could trick someone into thinking if it was human. Wow, pretty interesting, pretty far fetched from that time. Later in 1950, the excitement continued. During these years, people were super excited about making machines that could do things on their own, like, playing games and solving puzzles. So, this was the focus during that time. Early AI programs, some of the first smart programs were created by these gentlemen, and like a checkers playing program, and a program that could solve logic problems, and one that could understand shapes too. That's why this geometry engine. So later, interestingly, in 1956, in a Dartmouth meeting, the term AI was coined by another gentleman, and they came and they decided to call this field called artificial intelligence. and while which is like making machines that can think and learn. Further, in 1965, Robinson's algorithm, he is another smart person. He made a big step forward by creating a way for machines to think through problems logically. So again, logical reasoning was the focus here. Then further ahead in the next 2 decades, 70s and 80s, 90s, knowledge-based approaches became more popular. People started to teach machines a lot of facts, so they could make decisions based on what they know. It's like giving a robot a giant book to read and understand. So early knowledge-based systems, they built the first system where machines use the facts. They learned to solve problems, and later this was a time in 1980 to 88. This was a time when everyone thought these knowledge-based systems would change the world, and a lot of companies started using them, and therefore we came across this industry boom at that time. Now, unfortunately, during this time, people realized that AI is not as smart as people thought of it, and the research slowed down, and therefore, this period was known as the AI winter. Later, again, in the 90s, a lot of statistical approaches were used. People got smarter by using math and statistics. So, here, more math and stats were used, statistics. Machines started learning lots from data to make better guesses, like predicting weather. And where we are now, right now, 2012. So pretty exciting, I would say. With tons of data, we have a lot of data now. We have a lot of powerful computers, and we also have special programs called neural networks. Now, you will hear this name if you want to advance in this field a lot. So, this neural networks, this is inspired by the human brain. AI can do amazing things, recognizing faces, driving cars, and even helping doctors. So, AI has been through lots of ups and downs, but today it's a big part of our lives, and people are excited about what it can do next. So, now I want to give you a certain overview about how what is the current status of AI, how AI is being used. So, for instance, in the text we have chatbot. Now, I'm sure you might have heard about ChatGPT. It's an AI powered chatbot which can have conversations, and you can ask questions and you will get answers, and it can also generate text. For example, you ask something, a text is generated. Then there are different tasks like text translation. Now, what is text translation? Means you're translating a text. Like I just spoke before, it's like Google Translate. So you're using AI to translate text from one language to another. Let's say, so let's say we are translating from Spanish to English or Russian to English. Another one is text summarization. Now, these are the applications and use cases of how AI is being used today. So, I'm just giving you a brief overview. So, like you have tools like Grammarly. Grammarly, you know what it does? It checks your syntax, your grammar. It also summarizes long articles or reports into shorter versions. So, very interesting out there. Now, when it comes to images, so we have image recognition. Image recognition, as the name suggests, it is to identify, and for example, Google Maps, sorry, Google Photos, they can recognize. I'll just write here Google Photos. Google Photos, what it does, it recognizes faces and objects, etc. and places everything in your picture, automatically organizing them. Another is image editing. Now, how AI is used in this image editing? So, example, we have tools like Adobe's Photoshop AI features. They can automatically enhance photos. Now, I'm sure you guys have done this. Enhance photos and remove backgrounds or even add missing parts of an image. Another one is art generation. Now, this is more popular with the artists. So we have tools like AIs, like DALL-E is one tool which is used with this. With images, they can create entirely new image which didn't exist before. Amazing, isn't it? Just based on your text descriptions. Now, when it comes to audio, AI in smart assistants is when you ask Siri or Alexa to set a reminder or play a song or answer a question. AI is what understands your voice and gets the job done. It's like picture AI as your personal assistant who's always ready to help, whether you're trying to remember to do your homework, or let's say want to know the weather for your weekend plans. AI listens, understands, and responds almost like magic. In audio, we also have the few important tasks like speech recognition, like I just mentioned. It's the Alexa from Amazon or the Apple's Siri that can understand and respond to voice commands. Audio also involves music creation. Now, I'm sure you guys are, many of you are a fan of different bands, and I'm sure you listen to music. So, AI programs can also compose original music, and it can create melodies and harmonies based on a given style. We also have voice cloning. Now, voice cloning is like mimicking a person's voice, allowing it to generate speech that sounds just like a specific person, and also used in some voiceover work. In video, it's very common. We have video editing, and we have the video analysis. Now, video analysis, like you have CCTV cameras in security places, and they can analyze video feeds and to detect unusual activities or identify specific individuals. In the last one is 3D. In 3D, you can use it for 3D modeling, and AI can assist in creating 3D models for games, for movies, by generating realistic textures and shapes based on input data. So it generates realistic textures, very, very crucial. It's also used for 3D printing. Did you get a chance to hear about 3D printing? It's like AI can optimize designs for 3D printing and ensuring that objects are printed efficiently and with the best possible quality. Another application is the virtual reality. AI can generate complex 3D worlds in VR games, making environments more realistic and more interactive. These examples, I think you might have got some understanding that okay, how AI is being used and how AI interacts with and enhances different types of media. So further, let's talk about applications of AI. So healthcare, now AI could be used for, let's say, medical diagnosis. Now we are diagnosing a disease by analyzing medical text, medical images like x-rays to identify diseases. For instance, AI systems are being developed to detect skin cancer from images with high accuracy. When it comes to automobile, I'm sure you might have heard about self-driving cars or autonomous cars. And I have an example I'm going to show you later how they can navigate roads without human input. Companies like Waymo and Tesla are developing self-driving car technology. When it comes to finance, Just imagine you are going to a bank, you transact with bank, and banks are able to banks analyze your borrower's financial history and they and other data to predict the credit worthiness. This helps bank decide whether to approve a loan and at what interest rate. So in banks also it is used. Now when it comes to social media, I'm sure you are famous. I'm sorry, you're familiar with a lot of social media apps like Instagram, Facebook. Have you ever imagined how Instagram always seems to know which post you like the most? That's like AI at work. It looks at the type of post you interact with, like pictures of your favorite band or funny memes, and then shows you more of what you enjoy. It's like having a friend who knows exactly what you want to see next. AI, now when it comes to entertainment, we can think of AI in music recommendations. It's like or Spotify or Apple Music. This seem to suggest the perfect song for your mood, right? That's AI analyzing the songs you listen to. Or for that matter, you can also have YouTube. When you watch a video on YouTube, and then the next recommendation you get is somewhat very closer to what you might want to watch. Same happens in Netflix. You're watching a show and then it will suggest the next series. So this is all AI at work. They're analyzing your how you view the songs you listen to, the artists you follow, and even the time of the day you listen to music to create personalized playlist. So AI here is like your personal DJ. It knows when you're in the mood for something, and when you need some chill vibes to study, it knows. It's constantly learning about your tastes and curating the perfect soundtrack for your life. When it comes to gaming, let's say you're playing a game, let's say FIFA is related to soccer for those of you who are not aware about it. So the AI controls the other players or enemies. At first they might be easy to beat, but as you keep playing, they learn from your moves and become tougher opponents. So that's how, think of it like as your gaming rival who learns your strategies. They learn your strategies. If you keep using the same move to score goals in FIFA, the AI will catch on and start blocking those shots. It's like having a challenger who gets better every time you play. And similarly for like robotics, I'm going to show you example ahead, which will be more clear, and e-commerce and retail. Pretty much very useful in these domains as well. Amazon e-commerce is like Amazon. It gives you recommendations. I'm sure you might have received email from Amazon that you might want to buy this kind of email. I'm sure it's very common. So that's AI. Now when we talk about AI autonomous cars, you see, this is the these are the this is an inside view of how an autonomous cars looks like. It's like, you have six computers here, and inside, which keep track of all the computations that have to be performed. We have the GPS here, compass, which tracks your GPS. We have the lasers, you have the camera installed here, then there's a radar, and there's somewhere the steering. This one is the steering, so this is the control screen. So another I'll just show you a more detailed example. Let's consider this. Now this is the same car, so these are the sensors, they are camera. So this is the view that the car is able to see. So that it's important, so that you don't go and hit an obstacle. Now interestingly, in 2005, there was a grand challenge, and there was a grand challenge. It was organized around the Nevada and the California border. So they were having a race wherein several cars, one two three four, they would race, and it was around 132 miles if I'm not wrong. So the idea was to let's see who will win the race without hitting these obstacles. Now this is a pretty bad example, because I've seen the video of this. uh, the robo car actually hits the obstacle and it goes all the way hitting all the obstacles. So just imagine if this car were to actually run on a actual road, it could endanger people's lives. So this is a very bad example. So this research was conducted to enhance more research in self-driving cars. And as you can see ahead, this also looks like it says chemotherapy drug, so this is used in medicine. So this looks like a mechanical body, and it has wheels for navigation, and I think this is a camera for recording everything, for capturing the images and to avoid the obstacles. And it can also assist doctors in different things. So it's like AI is like the behind the scenes genius that makes everything around you smarter and more personalized. From helping you discover new music to challenging you in video game, it's there to enhance your experience. For instance, you can see the picture of a human here, and this is a drone. It has cameras and sensors, and it can be used to enhance your fitness. It can record how fast you're running and different things. So with this, it's also important to consider responsible AI. Now what's responsible AI? Because although we have seen things which are so interesting and it works, but what happens when an AI system fails? Now just imagine in self-driving cars, what if a self-driving car kills a pedestrian? It could be the last thing you want this. And this actually happens. Self-driving cars lost contact with their company's server for 20 minutes, and everything was stalled at once in the streets of San Francisco. This was the case in 2022. When it comes to the trading algorithm, it caused a market flash crash where billions of dollars were automatically transferred between parties, A and parties, another party. Now that's something which obviously you cannot afford that kind of problems. A facial recognition system. Now a classical example is your phones do have a facial recognition system that helps you unlock your phone. Now you don't want any stranger to get access to your phone. What if the facial recognition system on your phone malfunctions and it gives access to a stranger? You would never want that. Another case is the chatbot. This is an interesting case. Unfortunately, it was shut down only 16 hours after its release. The reason was that the Microsoft infamous chatbot, once it was launched, it quickly learned and tweeted offensive, racist, and highly inflammatory remarks. Such bad outcomes can be mitigated but require a deep understanding of how these systems work at different levels. So therefore, we need to be very careful of how AI systems we use and how we use it in a daily day-to-day life. Now, one more thing, like I said, AI is used in most places now. It's being adopted everywhere. So one thing you would often hear is that AI requires a lot of data. Now, what is this data? Data is anything that you use. Data can be of two types: structured and unstructured. Now, structured data is something which has like a traditional tabular format. Now, as you can see above, this fits like the traditional rows and columns. So, like these are the rows. One row, second row, third row, and fourth row. These are the four rows, and these are the columns: 1, 2, 3, 4. Date, and time span, size of email, link count. These are the columns. So they fit the traditional tabular structure. So that's called structured data. So this is typically used in databases of the companies. Now, unstructured data is something which is new. For instance, the text data, image data. There are images, there are videos. Then on Instagram, if you're uploading a photo and if you're using hashtags, that's also part of unstructured data. Text is you're sending messages on different apps: Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook Messenger, or you're sending it via Gmail. Everything is part of the text and unstructured data. Images, you're sharing images on different social media apps. Videos, you're sharing videos. So this is just to give you a little understanding that okay, what is structured data, what's the difference between them. Another subfield of AI is the natural language processing. Like we saw before, Siri, it's the virtual assistant which talks. So these are the speech technologies. Then text to speech synthesis is something. It's like you write a text, and then the text would automatically be converted to speech. So it is as simple as that. Just try to understand a broader idea of what things are. Dialogue systems, they are nothing but your chatbots. Like you have your chat GPT. So where you ask questions to chat GPT and they come up with an answer. And question answering is the same. Machine translation, I just uh, use the example of Google Translate. So you give input in one particular language. You, let's say you say how are you in Chinese. Now I don't know Chinese, so I cannot actually say for you, but let's say you are saying hi in Chinese. Let's say there might be some character which represents this, and then the output would be hi. Now this will be in English language. So this is the machine translation. Text classification and spam filtering, I'll just show it to you next. Now when it comes to this, this is the famous Chinese room argument. Now what is this? I'm going to explain. Now you can think of this person as who the person who knows English but not Chinese, and he sits in this room and he receives some notes. So these are in Chinese. As you can see, this is the input. So this is in Chinese, and the rule book here, it has some information on how to write new Chinese characters. So how to write new Chinese characters based on the input Chinese characters. So this is the input Chinese characters. So this person can be understood as the CPU. Just for your understanding, the rule book, this is the rule book. This can be understood as the AI system, and which might also need more storage. So as you get the input from here, this is the data, the storage things. You get the input based on this AI system. You generate an output. So this is the output. So this is just like to give you a perspective about things. And now as I said, I'll show you the example of a machine translation. So this is machine translation. It means a machine will translate something. So as you can see here, there's something written in a language which is not English, certainly. And here it's completely written in English. It's impossible for journalists to enter Tibetan areas. So what happens is machine translation basically translates text from one language to another. So a classical example is, now there is something written here. Now I don't know what is this, but I know that this is not English. So it could be any other language. It could be Russian, Chinese, Japanese, Hindi. It could be any Portuguese, and then mode of translation. So this box can be understood as an AI system. This can be considered as an input. So this is a machine or an AI machine. You give input and this is the output you get. What is the output? This is a sentence in a different language. It's converted to English. I will do it soon. So this is how machine translation works at a broader level. Later we'll get into the more details, but right now I'm just trying to make you aware how things are at a higher level. It's like a 10,000 feet overview. So just relax, just follow, and you should be fine. Now computer vision is another area of AI which applies to images. So anything related to images, then it means it's computer vision. So these are some of the subfields, and I'm going to show these subfields to you next. So this is computer vision. Now if I can just zoom in here, so you can see this is a bowl with this is the banana, this is um, there are some peaches, lemons, and oranges. So this is our brain. So you this is our human brain, and this is our eye. So the reason why we compared it to a human brain, because we are trying to build an AI system, like the researchers, the computer scientists, they are trying to build an AI system that mimics the human brain. This is the ultimate goal of AI. So how we know this is the eye? So the objective of eye is to capture images, and this is the brain. The idea for brain is to interpret, that means to understand, what is this a cat, or is this a image of a fruit, of a bowl of fruit, and then this is the output. Similarly, when we send the input here, the sensing device acts as a something which captures images. This could be a camera which is capturing images, and this could be understood as the AI system. So what the AI system is doing, it's taking image as input, camera is capturing it, and it's sending it here. It is interpreting the device, it is interpreting the image. So this is some processing going on here, and we get the output, a bowl with oranges, bananas, lemons, and peaches. So just to give you a perspective about how things are. Like I said about object recognition, how AI identifies object in a picture. So what it does is it tries to um, make a like a box kind of thing, which identifies that okay, this is the area of a person, this is another person, like from here, and this is the horse, and this is the car. It kind of makes a block out of all the things that it is able to notice. So this is like object recognition, means identifying different objects in a picture. Moving ahead, as we can see, classifying images is also one of the tasks of AI. Now you can see sheep here. So it has just classified that okay, in this box we have all sheep. Now here it is detecting objects like this is sheep 1, this is sheep 2, this is sheep 3. Also there is one technique called semantic segmentation, wherein you just try to identify the different categories. So road is one category here, there is one sheep category here, there's another grass, and then at instance it goes to finer details like sheep 1, sheep 2, sheep 3. So this is just to give you a perspective of how AI views things. We view it like this, for AI it's like this. Image classification is another important topic. So this is, as we know, this is the newspaper. So this is a snapshot of a newspaper. We send this to an AI system and ask the question, uh, AI system, can you identify what is the class? What is the class? Class means category of the image that is shown. So is it a newspaper, is it a magazine, is it a book? So, and we ask also, tell us with what probability that this is a newspaper. So as you can see, it has correctly identified this is a newspaper, and with 90% accuracy it has identified that it is a newspaper, and this is not a magazine, this is not a book. Now you might think, why it has said that 8% it is a magazine, why 2% it is identifying it as a book? It's very clear, it's a newspaper. So the thing is, that's why we say AI is not perfect. The more we train AI, the more number of times we tell AI that this is a newspaper, the better it is for AI. For example, here we said, okay, so what's the class of this? Class means what's the category? Is it a New York Tribune? Now we see here it's a Tribune, or is it a New York Times, or is it a New York Post? It's a different categories. What's the label? What's the newspaper of which category? And it says with 70% that it is New York tribune. So this is also, once we go into more depth, we will try to understand how image classification works. When it comes to robotics, as you can see here, these are partly mechanical objects, so it's partly mechanical engineering and partly AI. And it's much, these are like all simulations, but reality is much more harder than simulations. We see here there is some competition being held between robots. These are different robots, they are trying to play a game. There is some kind of complex structure which is trying to do a lot of automation. And you can also see there's a wire connected. And this is the image of a vehicle. And like I said, this is about soccer. So like I said, in this class we are going to ignore the mechanical aspects, and we would focus more on the AI thing. So like I said, they are trying to play a game, so this is a more close up. This is the ball and these are the two robots, and this is the defender, they are trying to hit the goal. So it's pretty interesting, people are also working towards it. Another picture of this shows the structure of a road and the traffic system. When I was working with my PhD mates, project mates, and helping them, so they were trying to work on a traffic system, so that there could be lower congestion, and how the traffic could be improved. So how the congestion can be reduced, and how things can be better. So for AI also we are using this. So how we are using AI in traffic, this is a very specialized area, and we would need more classes before we go into depth. So tools for predictions and decisions. So like I said before, like this is the Google Maps. We are going from this place to this place. We travel, Google gives us recommendations. We are on the fastest route, we are slow, there's a congestion ahead, there's a slowdown ahead. So things like that. And here you see there's a temperature. So how AI is being used here? So let's say the temperature automatically reduces, or the temperature automatically increases based on the environment. Here, it's Netflix. The movies and shows, they're automatically recommended to you, whether you want to watch this movie, this movie, this movie. It's all based on your browsing patterns. Now, current generative AI. So, what's the current status of AI? Presently, it's the generative AI, which is very hot these days, and it's a combination of both natural language processing and computer vision. So, what is NLP? So, NLP is nothing but text. Computer vision is nothing but images. And when you combine image plus text, this is what we call multimodal. Multi means more than one, and modal means different modes. So we took this image, and we sent this image as input to the AI system, and we asked, can you describe what is the image about? So as you can see, the system very accurately describes that this is a view of a bridge. So you can see this is a bridge with a clock tower. So this is the clock tower over a river, and this is the river here. Let me just, uh, if you can see here. So this is the river, this part. So it kind of very accurately describes what it is. And what's the technology behind this? Again, don't worry, now we will delve into it. We'll do a deep dive, not now, much later, in later classes. Now, audio, like I said, it's like speech to text. You say something, let's say if I'm recording, you get subtitles which are generated. So these subtitles are also generated because of this speech to text technology. You say something and it's converted into text. So this is an example of that. With what are the limitations? It's very important, because even though AI has outperformed humans in innumerable tasks, it cannot naturally switch and adapt to new tasks. For example, AI systems trained to recognize humans in images cannot recognize cats, or they cannot recognize horses unless they are explicitly trained on, without changing its architecture and algorithms. Again, we have to make a lot of changes. Moreover, when it comes to emotions, so machines today are incapable of experiencing any of the beautiful human emotions, such as love, closeness, happiness, pride, dignity, caring, sadness, loss, and many others. Mimicking emotions is different than experiencing and genuinely providing them. In this sense, machines are nowhere close to replacing humans. Another limitation is the large volumes of labeled data. Now, AI requires more data, and YouTube videos can be labeled safe for children or unsafe. Now, this is a problem, uh, because there are some YouTube videos which are only for, which are not meant for children. So if you want to block those videos, you have to label them, and in order to label them, we need more data. House prices can be labeled, can be available, with house restrict, number of bedrooms, median family income. So what I'm saying, I'm just giving you examples that for every problem that AI wants to solve, it requires large volumes of data, which is costly. It's not cheap to obtain and maintain it. So a substantial amount of data is confidential because you don't want to give out because of your privacy. It's unorganized, it's biased, and therefore obtaining it, curating it, and labeling it becomes a major obstacle. Another one is AI. There are so many multiple methods and algorithms. They are required to accomplish a certain task, and different methods can produce different results. So there are a lot of different ways you can do a particular thing, and there are so many methods, and even in them there are different results, so it's difficult to choose. In healthcare, like I said, it can be used to detect skin cancer if we provide the AI system with a lot of images, so we can do that. When it comes to resources, resource limitations are very important. They require a lot of computing power, and hardwares, which are again expensive. And again, with security cost, there is security, there is privacy, and there are attacks on privacy. So that's a very important concern. So again, the whole idea of generating AI system was, what's the original idea since its inception was to mimic human intelligence. We must not forget about this. This is like mimicking human intelligence, and that has been the challenge, and researchers and computer scientists are still spending a lot of time trying to mimic human intelligence, and with certain degree of success, but there's still a lot which needs to be done. So this also brings us to the end of an introduction to AI, and I'm sure you would have enjoyed this. And now, since that I've talked to you about some of the ways that AI could be used, there's an interesting activity for you. Spend 5 minutes, like in small groups, pairs, thinking about and deciding on a AI or a machine learning project that you would be keen to start. And you can use help from the internet, trying to understand what you want. Do you want to work in the chatbot side? Do you want to play with the images? Do you want to generate images? Do you want to generate more text? And which is of course interesting, and I would highly encourage you to do that. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to me on my email address, and I hope this session would have given you some brief idea about what is AI and how it has changed the world.